All right, that's enough of that. Unfortunately, welcome back to Beagle Eye Visions. Unfortunately, I forgot my speaker at work, like a dummy, so I don't get to have a cool intro like all the other YouTubers. I've really been enjoying having the music at the beginning of the videos, but this time, I guess not. Next book review, maybe I'll remember to bring my speaker home from work. I need to get another one. I need to get an upgrade. A bigger, louder, more sound. But anyways, I'm going to get into it. Let me show you guys what book we're doing this month. This month's book was Musical Truth, Volume 2 by Mark Devlin. He is an absolute legend. This book is thicker than a Snickers, so it doesn't really want to stay on the stand. So thank you if you made it this far, if you've been following the channel. It is the first of the month, although at the time of recording this it is currently Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day and happy first of the month at the same time. So Mark Devlin needs no introduction if you follow the channel, so we're going to dive in with a quote directly from the legend himself. But I'm going to drink some of my Restore potion right here because it's delicious. I got a fancy new shirt. This shirt is really soft. It's I liked it. I like it. It's great quality. Everything Debbie makes is great quality. What can I say? Okay. So direct quote from Mark Devlin himself. As I've pointed out many times, the manipulations of the music industry, as colossally far-reaching as they are still only one small part of the overall scenario of human slavery, of the few manipulating the thoughts, emotions, and actions of the many, of the battle between good and evil, which ultimately provides the reason why any of us choose in higher consciousness to incarnate here in human form. I realized that the reason I myself took on a fascination with pop music from the age of 5 and why I pursued a career as a music man is because it was always my job to expose this one small fragment of the story. I therefore leave insights to other aspects of conspiracy, whether it's banking scams, the birth certificate fraud, geoengineering, false flag terror hoaxes, cancer, or whatever else, to skillful and talented researchers who can do a much better job in those areas than I can. The subject matter contained in these two books is where I've needed to focus my own individual contributions, and each and every one of us has a part to play in the overall process. More of that in the final chapter. Mark Devlin, everybody, he's a legend. Oh my gosh, he's such a legend. He's so articulate. His words are flawless. His books are 10 out of 10. Every single book that I've heard or listened to or read, they've all been 10 out of 10. I really want to get his fictional books too. He's got some fictional books that he wrote, some good allegory in him, I'm sure. So. Very well said. Mark Devlin is a very articulate author. Like I said, he knows how to get me fired up, and his passion, love, and truth shows in his writings. Chapter 1, Acid Rain. Chapter 1 is all about the genre of music known as acid house, electronic dance music that uses synthesizers and other random gadgets. Think the entire soundtrack of The Matrix or Mirror's Edge. Shout out to The Matrix and Mirror's Edge, by the way. A genre I personally don't know too much about. Devlin also gets into the 2 Summers of Love, summarizing the chapter by saying how acid house culture paved the way for the worldwide spiritual psyop of electronic dance music. That's the direct quote from the book. Very synchronistically, we learn about a few lads from a school of Eton, and if you follow the channel, you'll know that I've been doing a Young Bond series that follows James Bond at Eton School, so I thought that was very synchronistic. Devlin writes about a club known as the Ministry of Sound, founded by a few Eton schoolboys in real life. I guess Eton does have its own dangerous society in a kind of a funny way. The Ministry of Sound was established in 1991 and is still going strong. What raises a red flag to me is the fact that I've read the book 1984. If you guys remember the Ministry of Love, which is quite the opposite of what the name implies, check out the book review. Check out the Beagle Eye Vision book review on 1984, please. One of the many reasons Mark Devlin is a highly revered legend is his ability to send you down various rabbit holes, researching the Ministry of Sound, for example. That was fascinating. I was reading some of this at work, and I started reading onto the Ministry of Sound. That's, yeah, like I said, that's quite the extensive rabbit hole, as we will find out many more rabbit holes. Just like shout out to Jay Dyer. Jay Dyer also has a great ability to send you down a lot of rabbit holes. Although Jay Dyer's first book is 10 out of 10, his second book, I would say, is like it drops down. It drops down a lot. But a very fascinating section in this chapter is titled "The Dark Side of the Smileys." I will point viewers who are lazy and don't enjoy reading books to the Wake the Dead podcast. Wake the Dead podcast has a few intriguing episodes on the smiley face killers, where William Ramsey co-hosts, link in the description, and also, because Mark Devlin is such a legend, there's also links in the book to the very same, not the Wake the Dead podcast, but to William Ramsey's own work that he does on the smiley face killers. Definitely worth checking out. William Ramsey. Shout out to William Ramsey. He's also a legend. He's been growing on me. The work he's been doing is really good. I want to get one of William Ramsey's books. Chapter 2, Electronic Evangelism. Evangelism? Yeah, no, that's how you say it. It's not electronic evangelism. Continuing on with various DJs and how they climbed the ranks of the lamestream media. Which is another reason why the huge EDM festivals they never strike any interest to me. I went to a few of them. The DJ playing over the crowd is some deity, makes me roll my eyes, because every single EDM. I mean, I went to one is in Bangor, Michigan. It was called like the Welcome Home Festival or something like that. I forget the name of it. No, the Orphanarium Carnival. But it was, it's just EDM all weekend, and to the point where you can't even sleep. Like, I tried to sleep in a car, but the bass was too loud and I couldn't fall asleep. So then I tried to go fall asleep in the middle of the woods and I couldn't. Like, I really didn't get much sleep at the festival at all, because just the loud EDM, like the beat of boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants, and just 24 hours a day, all weekend long. I don't understand why anybody would pay hundreds of dollars to get a ticket to listen to the same tired beat. Like, I'll never understand it. I will never understand it. The EDM nerds with horrible dancing moves and trust funds accounts, I'm good. Hard pass. Ooh. Apparently I have a drinking problem. Mark Devlin even mentioned Steve Aoki, which I followed his music for a little bit, but I got tired of it. Again, I got tired of it pretty fast. There are a few Steve Aoki music videos with skateboarding, which is what attracted me, but the self-indulgent hedonism quickly steered me away. Sorry, this W's just too good. The YouTube algorithm on many nights of drinking alone is how I even found Steve Aoki, which is another red flag, in hindsight. Chapter 2 wraps up on the curious take of how MDMA became popular overnight, much like the fake artists that we are told worked hard to climb the ranks and beat the odds, despite growing up poor, and and they made it famous overnight, blah blah blah, fucking blah blah. The same old story. We've heard that story hundreds of times. How many artists? Amy Winehouse, Bob Dylan, the singer of the Doors, Jim Morrison, all of the members of the Doors. Actually, now that I think about it, the members of the Police, all of the members of the Police, all of the members of Grateful Dead. Despite the odds, they worked hard. They just played good music. They played a lot of bars. But yeah, beat the odds and made it famous and made all this money somehow. I'm sure it wasn't planned at all, right? After reading Musical Truth Volume 1, we all know a lot of these artists are born into royalty with a full-fledged plan of how their entire life is going to play out by their mommies and daddies, who are also controlled throughout the immoral system of slavery, you know, like I said. Blah, 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 blah. Telling of how MDMA or Molly seemed to gain popularity through not only EDM music and events, but it even leaked into the shit-hop, aka rap music scene through Eminem, Madonna, and other garbage music artists, using the term music artist very loosely in this context. Yet another mind-blowing chapter by Mark Devlin. And I also want to mention, you know, Juice WRLD. They call that hip hop. Real hip hop is higher infinite power, healing our people. Juice WRLD ain't healing jack shit. He ain't healing nothing. He can't even heal his own consciousness. He OD'd on a plane, you know, just like all these other artists OD'd on a plane. They always, you know, and they're like these mumble artists, these SoundCloud artists, they're horrible. Like I said, I use the term artist very loosely. Chapter 3 is titled Fool Me Once, Social Engineering, Culture Creation, and Lifetime Actors. Speaking of, you know, the shit-hop artists, I'll start the description of this chapter off with a quote. The overriding aim of all social engineering agendas has been to employ culture towards the debasement of morals and breakup of the traditional family unit. Societies split by discord between the generations and between social groupings with perceived differences are much easier to manipulate by malevolent controllers than a population united in solidarity. Page 83, you know, like, yeah, the breaking up of the traditional family unit, right? When you break the traditional family unit up, you send the father off to war, or send him off to work even, and leave the mom at home with the children to defend the house. You know, it's like, it's obvious there's a reason for it. There's a plan. They don't want solid families to stick together and get each other's backs. They want discord in individual households. They don't want communities to stand up together and start, you know, talking to each other. You know, that's why they just say, oh, the grass is always greener on the other side. So I'm tempted to shut the camera off right there after that quote. That sums up the entire reason why I even started this YouTube channel, to expose the social engineering. Devlin, of course, goes on about how various lamestream artists like Katy Perry, Gaga, and the lot are brainwashed, programmed people that are constantly poisoning the minds of young children on a daily basis. Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus, I guess I had to throw that in there. Selena Gomez. Party of the USA, everybody, are brainwashed, programming people that are constantly poisoning the minds of young children on a daily basis, while the majority of the masses remain completely asleep and even encouraging their children to listen to such garbage by way of buying tickets, shows, Fortnite skins, and other ways of inserting Satanism and degeneracy into the lives of young minds. It's a very deep plan, and unless you really study it and unless you really look into it, you will always just turn your nose up at this information because of laziness or fear. I don't know what your reasoning is for for not looking into this information, but I mean there is a very clear pattern, you know, emerging in not only in the music industry but also the entertainment industry as a whole. And a lot of people just refuse to look into it. They refuse to put on the glasses. They refuse to use their peagle eyes or their eagle eyes, whatever. Also pointing to our attention that the internet has gained so much popularity, but only for the purpose of doing absolutely mindless things like taking selfies and pouring buckets of ice over each other's heads. And the whole idea of Snapchat, the whole idea of, you know, sending a photo. And it gets to the point where I've seen people brag about how many Snapchats I've sent 1,000 Snapchats this month. I've sent 12,000 Snapchats. I'm so cool. Like seeing these numbers on the screen, like they wear it on their sleeve like as if it's a virtue, as if it's something to flex about, something to be proud about. I've sent 1,200 Snapchats. Really, you probably sent 1,200 worthless photos of the most dumb, mundane, stupid shit anybody has seen in their entire life, and you're proud of it. Like I said, people use the internet for the most stupid, so stupid. I'm trying not to get fired up, but people are so stupid. They use the internet for the dumbest crap. And then when you bring them, when you tell them things like, the Super Bowl ceremony is a satanic ritual, they start ridiculing you and laughing at you. But it's like, dude, I read books, bro. I read more than just Facebook. I look into this stuff out of curiosity. Not to mention some of the other internet challenges that have had detrimental effects to the physical well-being of teenagers. Remember the Tide Pod challenge? And how the condom snorting challenge. And also a huge thing that I remember about those challenges is that I remember baby boomers and the adults making fun of the generations and degrading these young kids who have worthless parents who don't even care about them. And so it's like, it's bridging, it's making a farther gap in between the generations. It's like, like ridiculing and laughing at each other instead of, again, helping each other and educating each other and teaching each other the difference between right and wrong behavior. Why are you snorting condoms? Why are you doing that? You have nothing better to do with your life than snort a condom or eat a Tide Pod or eat like a tablespoon of cinnamon without any water? Like, are you really that stupid? Is your life really that meaningless? You have zero integrity? You have to put it yourself onto the internet like that and ridicule yourself? It's deplorable, man. It is all a deeply occulted agenda to destroy the attention spans of the youth and distract them from the truth by way of mindless, hedonistic, self-indulgent, constant entertainment. Yeah, and it's working. I mean, look like apps like TikTok, and Evil Podcast was talking about this too, about how, think about the names of these apps. TikTok, it's like your life is passing by you. Instagram, it's like an Instagram. It's just a little gram. It's like so tiny, like the fear of the state of lack, putting your mind in a state of lack, right? Or what's another one? TikTok, Discord, right? We use Discord, gamers use Discord to communicate with each other. Look up the definition of the word Discord. I mean, Jesus, Bruce Lee, Christ. Do some research. You have a smartphone. Look up the definition of Discord. Look up the definition of nice. I hear a lot of gamers saying, that's nice. Nice. No, look up the definition of nice. People don't look this stuff up. It's ridiculous. The perfect population of slaves willing and happy to choose left or right to the slaughterhouse. Another 10 out of 10 satisfying chapter that will satiate the hunger of any astute researcher. I'm going to take another drink because I was ranting there for that chapter. Chapter 4. Ever get the feeling you've been cheated? Good night. This chapter starts out great because my man, another shout out, my man Mark Devlin, he points out the fact that punk rock basically came out of New York. This is why he is a legend. He tells it how it is. And he does, like I said, he does research. He knows his stuff. Even another rabbit hole to explore is an ideology called situationism. It is a philosophy that gained popularity in the old days of the Sex Pistols and the Beatnik generation in London. One of the members of The Clash was even influenced by this ideology, for example. This is the first time I've read about this topic, so I don't know much about it. Moving on. From there we get into the life of the Copeland family. The Copeland family are the creators of the IRS, otherwise known as the International Records Syndicate. Doesn't sound like somebody I would record my music with. I'm not just saying. They might have the best recording studio and the top of the line microphones. I ain't recording with somebody. International Records Syndicate. And then the CIA, Copeland International Artist, and the FBI, of course, Frontier Booking International. Again, I wouldn't want to... All those names sound nefarious, and why are they using that acronym? Leading up to the Police, fronted by Sting. The band The Police, fronted by Sting. It's Sting Operation. Now, admittedly, when we put it that way, it sounds kind of flat, but it does make for a very captivating chapter with all the connections Mark Devlin makes. Fun fact: Sting wrote the song "Every Breath You Take" on Ian Fleming's desk. That is something I did not know. Ian Fleming is a very interesting individual. Check out the movie The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, because Guy Ritchie is also a very fascinating individual. Devlin also writes about a song called Murder by Numbers, which is how you could delete a mass amount of people through covert means and covert ways. This song has 1.8 million views on YouTube and is on an album titled Synchronicity. Wow. This chapter closes on a section titled I Don't Want to Go to the Chelsea. In the Chelsea Hotel, Bob Dylan, so last year for Valentine's Day they released the Bob Marley movie, and now they released the Amy Winehouse movie, and now they're doing the Bob Dylan movie. Any way they can milk these artists and the death of these artists, because these artists were ritualistically wiped off the face of the planet. But anyways, I'm going off on another tangent. So they just released a movie that's about Bob Dylan, and I think there's a few scenes that occur in the Chelsea Hotel, and that's really the only reason why I wanted to go see that movie. Bob Dylan does not impress me in any capacity whatsoever. He's got, like, the Rainy Day Woman song is awesome, but yeah, other than that, I'm unimpressed. This hotel, the Chelsea Hotel, holds a lot of dark intrigue with all the connections. 2001: A Space Odyssey, along with death, suicides, murder, Bob Dylan, and we all know the famous quote that Bob Dylan said about selling your soul. All that, and of course I have to mention that Dee Dee Ramone published his final book titled Chelsea Hotel exactly 13 months before his infamous overdose. May Dee Dee rest in peace. Dee Dee, hats off to Dee Dee real quick. Let's give a moment of silence to Dee Dee Ramone. Alright, had to do that. Which is another fascinating topic, going off away from the notes yet again. They've been trying to, I think it was Netflix. Netflix was trying to make a movie just like the Bob Marley one, just like the Amy Winehouse and the Bob Dylan one. They were trying to make a movie on the Ramones, and the Ramones family is basically refusing. They're like, no. They keep saying no. I don't know the full story, but the Ramones family is refusing, and I do not blame them in the least bit. Like, if you're not gonna show these musicians the respect that they deserve, you don't even deserve to make a movie and to continue to make more money off of their deaths and off of their lives and off of their music. They've made enough money. They've made plenty of money off of these artists, and if the family thinks Hollywood's not going to do it justice, then I stand by them. And as well as Dee Dee's lady, I forget her name, Dee Dee's Woe Man. She's still alive. She's still going strong, doing art, and I think she's still doing music too, I believe, Dee Dee's wife. So shouts out to those guys, and yes, respects if Hollywood's not going to give the Ramones the respect that they deserve. So Dee Dee Ramone passed away on May 10th, 9 days after May Day, or Walpurgisnacht, the occult season of sacrifice. Check out the Chelsea Hotel book review I did on this channel. Other people that have stayed at the hotel: Stanley Kubrick, Madonna, Alice Cooper, Pink Floyd, Bette Midler, which is a, like, what? Bette Midler? That's a random one. Jeff Beck, Nico, and the Velvet Underground. The list goes on. The book also details the infamous Sid Vicious and Nancy incident. Something I learned is that Sid Vicious, his parents met in the Royal Navy, which is, you know, shocker, right? Like, I didn't know that, but it's like, wow, I'm not really surprised there. Mark Devlin interviews a man who basically says that Courtney Love was the one that brought heroin into the grunge music scenes, just like Nancy Spungen did for the punk rock scene. Nancy Spungen and a band called Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers brought heroin into the punk rock scene, and we all know the story about heroin and punk rockers. They're like, I've lost so many friends. I'm not even moving on. The chapter has a lot of links and resources at the end that I think are definitely worth checking out, and you should make a decision about what happened to Sid and Nancy on your own. It is, it's a very, very fascinating rabbit hole. The story always makes me think of the song Sid Vicious Was Innocent, by The Exploited. If I had my Bluetooth speaker, I would have played like a little 30-second, or probably the whole song, because I love that. That song is so good. I don't claim that Sid Vicious was innocent. I don't know the whole story. But I do really enjoy that song. I used to skate to it all the time. I can't say, my hands are tied. I'm not going to express my opinion. Chapter 5, Heavy Vibes. Chapter 5 takes on the subject of heavy metal music. Devlin shows us research in stadium bands like Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth, and other edgy dad metal. Ooh, so edgy! Slayer! How many music festivals have you heard of that Slayer guy scream that? Jesus Christ. Get more creative, guy. It is a dark chapter, and I am a big fan of metal, following bands like Oceano, Knock Loose, Stray from the Path in my high school days, before I took being a musician really seriously and started joining. That was before I started joining bands myself. I was following all these guys. I literally watched Oceano. I went to 4 different Oceano shows in the same month. Like, I freaking love Oceano. They are 10 out of... I cannot get enough of Oceano. They are so good. Are they still together anymore? Somebody put it in the comments below. Let me know. Or I guess I'll research it after the camera's off. Are they still together? I think the singer was like doing a podcast or something like that. I don't know. I thought the singer was starting to speak out against the music industry or the record label that they were on. I'm gonna shut up. I went to any show I had access to, paying gas money to anyone willing to drive to Chicago or Indianapolis for the bigger events and the bigger music scenes. This was a funny story. I slow danced with a fellow Broseph at one of the last Haste the Day shows. If you guys know any emo kids in the subscribers, any emo kids in the audience, Haste the Day. Went to one of the last Haste Day shows, which it was one of the, oh my gosh, I slow danced with Broseph during one of the greatest metal songs ever. The metal song is titled American Love, and we saw it at the venue, the Egyptian Room in Indiana, which I could go down a whole nother rabbit hole, because it's a Christian band. They played all these venues like the Egyptian Room and never mind, I'm going off another tangent. The Chariot and A Plea for Purging opened up that glorious show. And I do have to mention, A Plea for Purging started talking about freedom, anarchy, and the Chariot and Haste the Day, they're like Christian metalcore bands, so they're all straight edge, and A Plea for Purging was definitely not straight edge, and they were definitely all about freedom of speech. That's kind of why I love it. But they were talking about, like, we should be able to have the freedom to party and drink alcohol wherever we want, and like they ended up shutting the microphones off on Plea for Purging. They just shut the microphones off for the band, and then the bands they raised up their middle fingers and they played like 3 more songs with no lyrics. But the crowd, there were a lot of Plea for Purging fans. There were a lot of fans there, so we really didn't need the microphones at all. It was still pretty loud. It was awesome. I love shows like that. Do shows like, man, do they still exist like that, where the whole crowd is louder than the PA? I haven't been to a show like that in a long time. Yeah, they opened up that glorious show. The final half of the book holds as much intrigue as the first half. I need to stop going off on my rants. So, again, I gotta give another shout out. I don't care how many times I have to hit that button. Shout out to Mark Devlin. Again, he's got the class, the elegance, and the style in which he presents the information to us. Also, this is very important. Constantly reminding us to have a skeptic but open mind, and most importantly, to do your own research and due diligence into these topics. That is so important. Like I said, go down the rabbit hole, do all the research, and then make your own decision. And don't be influenced by outside, don't be influenced by anybody else. Make your own decisions. The layout in which the chapters are are read. They seem to be well thought out, and there's pure genius in these pages. Mark Devlin, I highly review you. I'm pressing the button again. Mark Devlin, I highly review you, my friend. Thank you so much for these books. Chapter 6, Cymatics and the Science of Sound, which is, here's another rant. I used to, when I worked for Team Unity, and I was doing shows with them as the photographer, and I was running the door, I was taking the door money for them. I worked with a DJ, he worked with Team Unity for a while, named DJ Cymatics, and that was the first time I ever heard that word. And then, they started talking about it on the One Great Work Network, and like my good friend Brandon Martin started talking about cymatics, and it's just that, again, it's another interesting rabbit hole. So delving deeper into the rap industry in chapter 7 is titled "Is Nothing Sacred?" Chapter 8 is Paul, a chapter on researching the theory that Paul McCartney died in 1966 and was replaced by a double or taken temporarily out of the spotlight. This is a dangerous rabbit hole to get into, and it's easy to lose track of time. Just for example, there's part of the chapter where there's a very good researcher who says that she thinks Paul McCartney didn't die, but he did get into the car accident, and he had brain damage. And if, again, for those who study that type of stuff, people who have brain damage, there's always like very telling signs. So she thinks that he did get into the car crash in 1966. He was taken out, the real Paul McCartney was taken out of the spotlight, replaced with a sort of double, and then for the movie, the documentary where they played on the rooftop, I forget what it's called, Let It Be, I think it is, where they were playing those rooftop shows. She thinks that the real Paul McCartney came back and he played that show, the bearded Paul McCartney, he played that show. So it's really, really interesting. Again, you can lose a lot of time in that rabbit hole, and I have myself. Like I said, the last book review for Musical Truth Volume 1, I did an entire presentation on that topic alone in high school. It was really, really interesting. So chapter 9, so it's Good Night from me, and it's Good Night from him. An extensive take into the lives of Prince and George Michaels. I never got into either of their music. I try not to be self-indulgent. I don't want to party like it's 1999. I'm looking towards the future. I'm not looking way back then. I never got into either of them. They have some good songs, but the chapter is still a good read. Really fascinating connections into the dark side of the Hollywood. I actually even I kind of gained some respect for Prince, but like I said, I don't know too much about him. Chapter 10, same shit, different decade. Devlin decodes 1980s pop videos along with giving us links to various YouTube videos and websites to go deeper, as Devlin always delivers. He's a man of class, like I said. So when I was reading this chapter earlier before I started recording, and I was watching some of the music videos that he was listing, and oh my gosh, it's tough. I didn't watch all the music videos. I got tired of it after a while. I read the whole chapter, but it's once you see all of the, and Devlin makes fun of it a lot in the book. He's like, once you see enough checkerboard floor and pyramids and butterflies, monarch programming, you see teddy bears, one-eyed teddy bears, stuffed animals. Once you see enough of it, it starts to make you sick. You can only roll your eyes in the back of your own head so far. You know what I mean? So I ended up I had to stop, put the phone down, stop looking at the music videos because that was starting to make me sick. Chapter 11. Websites go deeper. Devlin always yes. So chapter 11, the final chapter is waiting to be written. I didn't finish the book yet, but I will. I got to page 349 out of 390. There's the last 2 or 3 chapters are addendums. He went back and after writing the book, he went back and added these chapters. And again, it's more into just the dark just the dark aspect of the Hollywood, and it gets the first addendum is all more about Prince, like more Prince connections, which like I said, I will read, but you can only take so much. Like definitely read this book in chapters or in sections, or at least when I'm writing notes on it, it kind of makes it even more tough. Like I wish I could just read the book and like continue on. You know what I mean? You get physically ill after a while. It's just so much like dark stuff in the music industry, and I'm like, as a musician who wanted to, be a cheesy rock star and like work my way up the ranks, I don't have that dream anymore. But as a musician who used to think like that and have that type of mentality, it's cringy stuff. But it's still really good. This book is 10 out of 10. It's so good. His work that he does is so articulate. Oh my god, I can just talk. Legend, absolute legend. So that pretty much wraps it up there. I hope you made it this far. Sorry I didn't have any background music or anything like that. So don't forget, if you want to support the channel, use code BeagleEyeVision for 10% off your purchase at w.gg. Get yourself some game fuel. Get yourself some game fuel to get some Dubby Dubs. Get yourself some. I'm gonna drink some more. This is my first Dubby cup, and I'm still rocking it. It's kind of gotten beaten up. Like I used to ride my bike to work, and it would fall out, and it's got like scratches and stuff all over it. But still, I've had this cup for over a year for sure, and it's still lasted. These are durable, high quality merch. It's good stuff. What happened? What else? Okay, so one more shout out. Mark Devlin, your work is phenomenal. Book is 10 out of 10. So on the YouTube channel, on the Beagle Eye Vision YouTube channel, there are I updated some of the work that I've done. I've made playlists check out the playlist that I made. Grindin featuring Cubbyhole Podcast. I'm gonna have to go back and re-record some of those episodes because the microphone cord that I had at the time, it was like disconnecting, and like I put it through the ringer. I put that microphone cord through the ringer. The whole microphone actually. So I ordered a new microphone cord. I'm gonna have to go back and re-record those episodes. But before I do that, I've been grinding Cars 3 Driven to Win. So before I really update the Cubbyhole Podcast playlist and get it perfected, I'm gonna finish grinding Cars 3. I'm gonna finish that series. And I also finished grinding Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which is another playlist I highly recommend if you love this type of work. If you enjoy video games, I talk about allegory. I use all of this knowledge that I used from reading all these books, and I put it into the video games, into the grinding series. So what else? Grinding Cubbyhole, grinding Mirror's Edge, grinding Cars 3, Driven to Win. I'm gonna finish that. There's more to come. I'm always grinding, There's plenty more to come. Mark Devlin is a legend. I don't know how many times. I wish I had a nickel for every time I said it. When I write a book, I seriously, I aspire to not only be as well written, but also as well researched as Mark Devlin is. I will most likely order Musical Truth Volume 3 this summer. I've already listened to the audiobook of Musical Truth Volume 3 about 70 times in my research for the Grinding Fortnite, which I need to make another playlist of that as well. Grinding Fortnite, Satanism in Modern Gaming. Heavily inspired by these sets of books. So if you like video games and esoteric wisdom, find it. I'll make a playlist of that one too. Like I said, I need to update that one. But between working 40 hours and working 40 hours a book and just reading one book a month, that alone takes up so much time. I just beat the finals battle pass, so that's done. So I don't have to worry about the finals battle pass anymore. Thank you to those who tuned into the finals live streams. That was pretty epic. What else? What else we got going? I just bought, even though I'm a cheap bastard, I just bought the PlayStation Network. So I've been able, Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves was on sale. And if you don't know, I've been playing. There's a game called Pirates online. It's totally free if you have a computer of any kind. I mean, this game has worse graphic quality than RuneScape. But the important part is that it's free to play. Shout out to Pirates Online. I love Pirates Online. It's not as it's so Disney used to have a website called Pirates Online, where Legends of Pirates Online, where you could go online and hang out with pirates. You could buy a ship and grind. Free to play game. It's so much fun. You can level up. I've been trying to beat that one, but ever since I bought Sea of Thieves, I've just been grinding that. So I'll be grinding that right after this. Once I get done uploading this and making those playlists, I'll probably be grinding Sea of Thieves. Well, it's Valentine's Day. I'll probably watch like Breakfast Club or something. Who knows? The day is still young, and I have to work at the ass crack of dawn tomorrow, unfortunately. So, yeah, hopefully I can get some treasure on Sea of Thieves. So, hey, if you play Sea of Thieves, and even if you own your own ship, add me. Sly WTMN, or on Sea of Thieves, I'm Goldhawk. Goldhawk 5, I think my name is. I've been getting into that. That's been a lot of fun. I love Sea of Thieves. It's the best. It's the best. Hopefully I can upgrade a computer. Hopefully I can upgrade my computer and then play Pirates and also record the gameplay, because it's an awesome game. It's ran by volunteers now, and they have, of course, they have like a Patreon or something that you can donate money to and support the Pirates video game. But yeah, it's yeah, been a lot of stuff happening. I'm very sad I have to work tomorrow. I'm gonna have to crack a twisted tea after get done drinking this W. But anyways, use code BeagleEyeVision, right? It's on the table right here because I used the Crass banner. BeagleEyeVision, 10% off your purchase. You could also, if you want to donate directly to me, if you tell me you want me to buy a book, if you tell me you want me to buy something, and if you donate to the Cash App, you can Cash App Beagle Eye, and you'll find the logo if you want to support that way as well. But yeah, so stay tuned, stay golden. Oh wait, no, there's another quote. Before I'm gonna wrap up another quote. I can't believe I didn't even read from the book. So this is a great wrap up here. Direct quote from page 338 to 339, and I thought this was very inspiring. I just had to write it down. Can't believe I almost forgot. So, from Mark Devlin himself, we need more leaders, not followers. If the information in this book has spoken to you and inspired you, become a teacher yourself. It's the each one, teach one process. I concur with what Mark Passio has articulated on several occasions, that the most satisfying response a researcher can get from a listener or reader of their work is not, quote, "Thank you for what you do. Your information has helped me understand things so much better now," but "Thank you for what you do. Your information has made me realize that I need to get out in the field myself and make my own personal contribution. And I will now be doing that. For as long as all the work is left to a comparative handful of individuals, the transformation that needs to take place will not happen. We just don't have the numbers." As Passio himself put it during the provocatively titled Fake-Ass Christians presentation in Philadelphia in June 2017. 10 out of 10 presentation, by the way. It's free, totally free on YouTube. Totally free. You don't have to spend any money. There's no paywall. It's amazing. Okay, so back to the book. If the so-called Christians, this is from Mark Passio now, if the so-called Christians and so-called truth movement focus their grassroots efforts and resources into a worldwide campaign to teach the truth of universal, cosmic, moral, natural law to everyone, think of how many people could be reached with a message of self-improvement, consciousness, and freedom. For everyone to know the truth of natural law will truly make us free. Now I will shut the camera off on that one, because that's perfect right there. That nails the reason why I started this channel. So stay tuned, stay gold, fight war, not wars, destroy power, not people. Like freaking, I feel like Frank Zappa now. Where's my little pointer stick? Fight war, not wars, destroy power, not people. Okay, very simple to know the difference between right and wrong behavior. Thank you so much if you guys made it this far. I appreciate you. Stay tuned, stay golden. There will be more content. Peace.